The sun dipped behind jagged cliffs, staining the sky in deep shades of amber and crimson, and the valley below grew restless with shadows. A small clan of early humans huddled close to their fire, its crackling flames both comfort and shield against the vast wilderness. The firelight painted their rough, weathered faces in flickering orange, their wide eyes reflecting both fear and determination. For them, fire was not just warmth or light, it was survival itself, the fragile barrier that separated them from the unknown that lurked in the darkness. Their leader sat at the edge of the fire's circle, a broad-shouldered man with a scar running across his brow, a mark of battles already fought. His hand clutched a sharpened stone spear, its tip darkened with the blood of past hunts. Around him, his people chewed roasted roots and strips of dried meat, sharing food with gestures and grunts. The clan's communication was primitive, yet filled with meaning. Sharp glances that warned of danger, low murmurs that reassured children, and short guttural sounds that bound them together. The night carried strange noises, the rustle of tall grass, the call of unseen creatures, the low growls of predators that prowled in the distance. The clan had grown accustomed to such sounds, but tonight there was something different. The scarred leader's sharp eyes noticed movements beyond the glow of firelight. Shapes in the dark. He froze, every instinct screaming that this was not a lion, not a wolf, not anything they had faced before. These shapes moved too deliberately, too much like them. As the flames hissed and cracked, the figures crept closer. Stocky, hairy bodies crouched low in the grass, their heavy brows and sloping foreheads catching brief glimmers of light. Their eyes glowed with a mixture of hunger and cunning. These were not beasts of the forest, yet not the same as the clan. They were something in between, another branch of humanity, less evolved but strong, fierce, and desperate. For days they had shadowed the clan, watching from a distance, waiting. The women pulled their children closer, clutching them to their chests. Hunters gripped their crude weapons tighter, hearts pounding with the knowledge that what stood in the dark was not animal, but rival. The scarred leader rose slowly, towering in the glow of fire, his shadow stretching across the circle like a warning. He raised his spear high and let out a deep guttural roar that split the night air. The figures in the grass froze, answering his challenge with their own low screeches and chest pounding. But they did not yet advance. For the first time, the clan realized that the world was not only filled with predators of fur and claw, but with others who looked like them, walked like them, and wanted the same fire, the same food, the same land. The air hung heavy with the weight of what was to come. As the first humans stared across the flames into the eyes of their own reflection, a less evolved shadow of themselves. Dawn broke slowly over the valley, the pale light creeping across the jagged cliffs and spilling into the clearing where the clan had endured a sleepless night. The fire, now smoldering, still offered thin trails of smoke that rose into the pink sky. The people sat huddled, their faces drawn with fatigue, yet their eyes sharp with fear and expectation. The rival creatures had lingered in the darkness for hours, circling the fire like restless shadows, testing the edges of courage. Now, with the coming of morning, the standoff could no longer hold. Something was about to break. The scarred leader stood tall, his broad chest rising and falling in slow, deliberate breaths. He drove his spear into the earth before him, the sound sharp and final like a declaration. His deep roar echoed across the clearing, a raw, primal warning that carried the weight of ownership. This fire, this food, this land belonged to his people. His clan rose with him, spreading out into a rough line, each clutching a weapon, sharpened stones, heavy branches hardened in flame, crude spears chipped with care. Mothers clutched their children behind them, their eyes fierce with the instinct to defend. Across the clearing, the rival species answered. Their voices were shrill, screeching cries that pierced the morning air. They pounded their chests, stomped the ground, and brandished rocks in defiance. Their movements were wild, animalistic, yet not without purpose. Hunger drove them, desperation fueled them, and the scent of cooked meat from the fire was too powerful to resist. The clash came suddenly. One of the hairy creatures burst forward with a bone club raised high. The scarred leader met him with a spear thrust, the sharpened stone biting deep into flesh. A cry of pain erupted, mingling with the snarls and shouts of both sides. The clearing exploded with chaos. Stones flew through the air. Clubs cracked against bone, and the air filled with dust and blood. The clan fought with desperation, every strike driven by the knowledge that failure meant extinction. A hunter swung his club down on a rival's skull, the sound sickening but necessary. Another thrust a burning branch at an attacker's face, sending the creature shrieking and retreating into the brush. Yet the enemy pressed on, clawing, biting, tearing with a savagery born of hunger. The scarred leader roared again, his voice carrying above the din, rallying his people. With every blow, with every scream, the tide began to turn. The less evolved rivals, though fierce, lacked unity. They fought like individuals, while the clan fought like one body, each protecting the other, each bound by something greater than mere survival. At last the hairy beings faltered. Dragging their wounded, they retreated into the forest, their cries fading into the distance. The clearing grew quiet, save for the heavy breathing of the victors. The clan stood bloodied, bruised but unbroken. The fire still burned, weak but alive, a fragile flame that now felt like a trophy of triumph. The scarred leader lifted his spear high into the air, his chest heaving with exhaustion and pride. Around him, his people raised their voices, low guttural cries of victory that shook the valley. For the first time, they had not only defended themselves against beasts of fang and claw, but against a rival that was almost like them. This was no simple hunt, no passing danger. It was the first true battle for dominance. As the sun climbed higher, the clan understood even without words what their victory meant. They had claimed not just fire, but the right to endure. In the silence that followed, the valley seemed to bow to them, as if the world itself acknowledged that the path of humankind had begun. Brutal, uncertain but unstoppable.